Love is a powerful thing. It can make someone feel like they're at the top of the world, or chuck them into the throes of despair. It's like a particularly nasty drug that its user just can't get enough of. It alters its victim's state of mind and makes them do things that sometimes they aren't very proud of. I know, I can speak from experience. Love can make your world go from dull and monotone to colorful, something of an adventure. For one girl, that blissful color was the only thrill she ever had in her life. Now, addicted to it, she'll do anything in her power to make sure it stays.
He will be mine. He doesn't have a choice.
Good morning, afternoon, or night, everyone. My name is Kai, and I'm a recovering 2010s kid. What a statement, right? Well, I grew up on making cringy gacha videos, family vloggers, and weird video games that shaped my childhood. There were many games I loved as a kid, and ones that I admittedly feared. The Herobrine and especially the null conspiracies surrounding Minecraft had me in a chokehold, and I was constantly scared of playing it over the creepypastas I'd seen. I was also there for the first FNAF gameplay videos, and I remember getting it on my computer just to be too scared to play it. I haven't touched the game since, but I've watched all of Game Theories' theories on it tenfold. And eventually, I did discover Yandere Simulator. It's a game that needs no introduction. Its name alone is infamous within circles of the internet, and countless videos have been made on the game, about the game, and its creator. I'm not here to talk about that, though, because I am not ready to open that can of worms on my cozy art account. Instead, I'll be going over the general story of Yandere Simulator and changing anything I want to, because I have that power, damn it! Anybody who's unaware of what Yandere Simulator is, it's a game where you play as a teenage girl, Ayano Aishi. She has a crush on this guy called Taro Yamada, and it's not a normal crush. She completely lacks empathy and would do anything in her power to make him love her. So, she goes on a very quiet rampage, slowly killing off each and every one of her rivals until only Taro himself stands in the way of Ayano's affections. The gameplay can be lewd sometimes, including a mechanic where you have to take inappropriate pictures of other teenage girls to gain help from a girl named Info-chan. My idea is to keep the teenage aspect and the crazy love, but change the characters into something more believable and add more nuance. Starting off with Ayano herself. In her initial design, Ayano wears a middle school uniform, and obviously so do the rest of the students. Unsurprisingly, the high school uniform is a bit different. High school students often wear white button-ups with cream-colored sweater vests on top with a red bow tie and navy blue skirts. I decided to keep the sweater vest idea but scrap the bow tie and the skirt color. Her outfit is the typical uniform, and her skirt is significantly longer than it is in her artwork. Her description from the official website goes as follows. Since early childhood, Ayano has suffered from an inexplicable, incurable condition. In short, this condition leaves her with a perpetual sense of being empty, hollow, and incomplete. As a result, she has never been able to experience satisfaction, fulfillment, or happiness, and has not been able to experience emotions in the same capacity as other people. As she grew older, she learned to pretend to be a normal person in order to avoid drawing negative attention from others, but was never able to feel any degree of empathy towards other human beings. Ayano attends a post-high school academy called Academy. On the first day of her second year at Academy, Ayano came into physical contact with a young man named Taro Yamada. In that moment, she gained the ability to experience everything that had been missing from her life. She felt complete, she felt fulfilled, and she felt powerful emotions. Meeting Taro was like seeing color for the first time, hearing music for the first time, and feeling warmth for the first time. In his presence, she felt overwhelmed with euphoria, but as soon as they were apart, the feelings of emptiness returned. After just one meeting, Ayano had become hopelessly addicted to Taro's presence, and came to rely on him in order to feel alive. Then Ayano saw something horrible, something that terrified her and infuriated her at the same time. It was a young woman who clearly had deep feelings for Taro. If Taro entered a relationship with this girl, then Ayano might lose him forever. Without a moment's hesitation, Ayano knew exactly what had to be done. This girl, her rival, had to be eliminated as soon as possible, by any means necessary, no matter what the cost. So, she's nothing really without Taro. Regardless, Ayano learned how to behave normal, and in the story, she has very little to do with Taro at all outside of her desperation to be near him, so that is the first thing I changed. In my story, Ayano is a popular girl at school. She's friends with Taro Yamada, Raibaru Fumetsu, and Osana Najimi. Osana isn't much of a good friend, but Ayano keeps her close for the sake of her beloved Taro. The three of them are seniors, preparing to face the uncertainties of adult life. Raibaru is a year younger than the rest, but she's extremely perceptive and is an avid enjoyer of true crime. Most students admit that Ayano isn't particularly talkative and she minds her own business, only speaking to people out of politeness. She flies under the radar most of the time, but nobody could imagine her as anything other than a level-headed, modest introvert. Ayano has been noted to be an amazing student at logical subjects such as chemistry, physics, mathematics, and biology. Other students often come to her for help, and she regularly gives them tips on how to study for such topics. On the other hand, she's horrendous at creative subjects, including music, art, and literature. She also has another friend who knows her significantly better than anybody else, a girl named Info-chan. She, too, is a senior and knows exactly what Ayano is planning, to get her lover boy at any cost. Initially, Ayano wasn't planning on killing anybody. She wanted to convince Osana to back off, but when the tsundere outright refused and insulted Ayano, the poor girl had no other options but to seek the help of the most infamous girl at school. I wanted Ayano to be relatively unassuming. She's relaxed, quiet, and minds her own business most of the time. The weirdest thing about her on the surface is her room, and only her parents go in there anyways, and they know about their precious daughter's gift. My idea for their drawing was to make Ayano look off. She's in a petite pose, her arms are stretched down, and she's standing with her feet pointed together. Still, I gave her the Kubrick stare. I thought it'd be a fun way to show just how intimidating and dangerous she could be despite her vibrant uniform. Okay, now Taro Yamada. Ugh, where do I even start with him? He's a very poor reflection of a certain man's interests. He was made to be your typical anime protagonist, nothing interesting about him, which is even further emphasized by Info-chan. The idea that Ayano is in love with him makes sense in that context as well. However, if Taro is a loner, an introvert who has nothing of note added to his character, it is utterly ridiculous to suggest that Ayano needs to eliminate 8 other girls to get to him. Not only that, but Taro also gains the affections of 2 adult women, and from the descriptions of Mujakina and Midarana, it seems that he's into it. Taro's entire situation is blatantly playing off the developer's own fantasies. This is my man. No, Ayano, he looks like he wants a man. I wanted to make his situation more believable through a display of his hobbies. I figured it'd be nice to make him more athletic. Giving him an active hobby would give the girls an excuse to like him. He's attractive and well kept. I also thought I'd make him smart. He's got average grades, he's not a total nerd, nor is he a terrible student. He also often helps classmates with homework, although sometimes he can be a bit of an airhead. Taro's wearing a beaded bracelet gifted to him by Osana, considering the fact that they're childhood friends. I thought that it would be better, however, if Osana's friendship with Taro is strictly just friends from Taro's perspective. In the original story, they're best friends since childhood, and there's a big difference. I'll cover it more when I work on the other rivals. I imagine Taro is more of a talkative, popular person than he is in the game. He has more male friends and is mutually respected by pretty much every guy in the school. Not everybody likes him, but nobody cares to hurt or humiliate him. Taro's wearing his uniform, however he hasn't rolled up his sleeves, his sweater vest is poking out of his shirt, and he's generally not as well kept as other students. I feel like my version of Taro wouldn't worry as much about his clothes as he would his, facial appearance, you know? Okay, so Osana's next, right? No, it's Info-chan. In the original story, she gives Ayano stuff and does favors for her in exchange for explicit images of girls. I think it's particularly odd how Info-chan only requests photos of ladies, but I think I've got a way to twist that into something a little less disgusting. Info-chan will do anything for Ayano at a cost. Since the start of the school year, they've had a special deal between deranged friends. Info-chan helps Ayano in exchange for selfies with Ayano's victims. When you kill, you take a photo. Make sure to smile, was told to Ayano so many times when they started out with their deal that Ayano started sending Info-chan random pictures throughout the day as well to keep the ever-watching hermit girl some company. Info-chan would be, in my perfect world, Ayano's final rival. Ayano is one step away from getting Taro. His affections are hers, and for a week the two go out on dates and spend time together uninterrupted before Info-chan rolls in and pulls out chat logs. Pictures of Ayano with dead, brutalized bodies cover the screen. Ayano snaps. Her only real friend is betraying her. Why? Taro pukes when he sees the photos. Cries, calls Ayano a monster, and tries calling the cops, only for him to be killed by Info-chan in the end. With one last dead body to their names, Info-chan cups Ayano's cheeks and confesses her love under the cherry tree. Yes! She's a Lebanese. The thing is, I don't think Ayano would end up reciprocating, especially when Info-chan killed the only person Ayano ever wanted. Doomed romance, it's great, isn't it? Info-chan is cunning and amazing at manipulation. She gets Ayano, who is also logical and manipulative, to do exactly what she wants without protest. I'd like to think of Info-chan as a chronically online loser who fantasizes about the idea of a mutually abusive romance. Considering the fact that Info-chan has eyes over every inch of the school, I feel like she'd build something of a parasocial relationship with Ayano throughout the murder weeks. Info-chan views it as spending the whole day together, but Ayano sees it as her intimate act of stalking Taro being interrupted. So the final result goes as follows. Ayano doesn't have big bahonkas. Info-chan is not as blatantly creepy. She's like monogamously creepy, and Taro is a straight white man now. I think it's safe to say that in my version of the story, there's a lot more stakes for Ayano specifically because she has to deal with both her reputation, her friendships, and blackmail, among also having to kill people and not get found out, so I feel like it'd be obvious to anyone who knows me that I am still a sucker for the whole Yandere archetype, especially because powerful love is such an interesting thing to search and learn about, especially when it comes to people who do end up killing because of their affections, you know? And I think it's like Yandere Simulator was such a missed opportunity to make a meaningful story, you know? Instead, it was just kind of like icing on the shit cake that is the developer, you know, which I think is a real shame. I plan to, of course, continue with this series, and I will start doing the rivals next, and I am gonna keep the adult rivals, except I'm gonna make them less affectionate towards Taro and more of just an obstacle for Ayano because that's how they were supposed to be, and this time they won't be disgusting archetypes because I'm not gross. Anyways, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or night, and I'll see you back here later.